On question number 3, we have a 2 in front of the x on the inside. So I actually need to get this into the correct form before I can really identify my information. So we need to factor that 2 out. So I'm going to put brackets, the 2. Now when you factor a number out, if you factor 2 out of 2x, that just leaves an x. If you factor 2 out of a pi, now factoring is the same thing as dividing. So pi divided by 2 is just pi over 2. Again, if you want to check, you can redistribute that and you should get back to where you started. But this will be our new form that we can look at. So my amplitude is 2 because of this 2. It is not flipped because this 2 is positive. The period is going to be 2 pi divided by this 2, and 2 pi divided by 2 is just pi. The vertical shift is going to be 3, or I should say up 3, and the horizontal shift we get from the plus pi over 2. And that's really important why we had to factor out that 2, because otherwise you would say that it's shifted over pi. It's not. It's shifted over pi over 2. And that's going to be to the left pi over 2. We know that because it is a plus here, and it's the same rules as any of our other transformation of functions that we talked about a couple chapters ago. So if I graph this, I'm going to do 0 to 2 pi, negative 5 to 5, and your window should be set up correctly if you did the previous problem. So I'm going to type this in, 3 plus 2 sine of 2 times x plus pi divided by 2, and graph this. And again, your graph doesn't need to be perfect as long as it's close to the graph that you see in the calculator. Okay, so you'll notice that we have, or the picture has kind of been condensed, meaning because of the period being pi, you're going to see more copies of the function between 0 and 2 pi instead of just one iteration. And it's all been shifted up 3, and the amplitude is 2. So that's really why it looks the way it does.